Patrick, Devin White, he's been near the top of the league in tackles this season, but apparently by some metrics too, struggled in pass coverage. Where do you think he's shined at and struggled at throughout the season?
Well, the number one thing is, just being consistent every day, in terms of, especially with the green dot, in terms of his energy, he comes in with a positive attitude each day, looking to get better each day. And, it's been good being around him in terms of just his personality and things of that nature. Admired him from afar a long time, just watching him play ball. And so glad to see him have his joy playing football. The wins haven't been like we wanted, but in terms of just having fun and then just trying to get better every day. So, tackle production, coverage, whatever it may be, but just looking to get better. I mean, like most of the guys are doing out there.
Along those lines, Jamal Adams came here. There were some injury, issues for him the last couple of years, but just the fact that he's been able to play, beginning to end and put up the season that he has. Do you feel like he's shown enough that he's still a viable player in this NFL moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him, having gone through those injuries and things of that nature, for him to be able to get a whole season in and be able to be out there playing football, and I'm sure he's finding joy in that. So I'm happy for him there. And then for him, just in terms of just being, production, he's made some plays out there, and out there in terms of TFLs in the pass game, some plays running through in the run game, and then a sack on the blitz last time we played Kansas City. So again, I mean, like, he's doing things that you want from the position. So that's a positive.
Usually when you play the Chiefs, you kind of already know a lot of what to expect. You've seen a lot of it with the new quarterback. What have you seen from him looking at him on the film?
One, again, you can see there's definitely a level of like where, like what happens with any quarterback room like that when you got somebody as good as Patrick in there, like they're going to just naturally mimic him a little bit, just like even some of their mannerisms. So you see that. One thing I was watching how he's walking to the huddle one time. I said, and it looked funny. It looked like because he looked like Pat walking to the huddle. I thought it was. I mean, not that they're coaching that, but they got a system and a scheme that's been there for a long time, and I'm sure there's some tweaks that are going to be put in place for him, just in terms of just they're not going to give him everything that Pat's doing, but I mean, the whole offense is predicated off of running the ball, whether it's quarterback under or when they're getting gun, the spread program, and then getting the ball out fast in terms of their quick game. So I don't think any of that's going to change because that's been Coach Reed for a long time. So, and Coach Nagy and how those guys put it together. So what I've seen from him, he's able to get the ball out on time. He has some athleticism back there in the pocket to make some, make plays off the loose plays. So it's going to be a challenge.
How would you put this whole season, into perspective?
Just in terms of the winning, because again, that's what it's about. Even the motto for the organization, just win. We haven't gotten the wins that we wanted, so that's disappointing. In terms of the growth of some of the players, in terms of the young players getting opportunities and things of that nature, I find some comfort in that. Just seeing those guys grow. Just being a teacher and seeing guys improve over the time. And then just what I'm looking for is for the guys to go out there and just understand that play your asses off. Put forth your best effort, and then try to ignore the scoreboard as much as possible and just play ball. But in perspective, I probably do that probably at the end of the season, be more reflective on it. But, a lot of things that I know myself personally, I wish I could have done better or got conveyed and things of that nature. And, there's a level of disappointment, but, each week is different. So I'm focused now on winning this game this week. So just finding joy there. That's the biggest thing for me for the guys, man. It's just they try to do everything we're asking them to do, especially from my perspective as the coordinator. I just want them to get that reward of Sunday because that's why you put all the work in. It's just, it's professional football. It's a job, but you get to play on Sunday, and when you win. I just want to see them smiling in the locker room. That's my, again, that's all that matters to me. I've won before, you know what I mean. But like, that's all that matters. It's about the guys for me. That's all I care about.
Max Crosby battled a knee injury. Dealt with knee injuries, like I believe since week 7 against KC, and then he's got shut down. Just for him to still put the numbers he did this year, despite having a nagging knee injury throughout, and now has to get surgery. Expect to get surgery. Just what does that say about him as a player?
I mean, it's again. I mean, you guys have some access to him, but it's not just what happens on that field with this guy. It's what he does in the community. It's how he is in the meeting rooms. Like, to me, Vince taught me this a long time ago. Like, just in terms of, if you're going to be excellent at this game, you're trying to be excellent at everything you're doing. And that's what this dude does. Like, he goes hard in everything he does, whether it's, it's charity, whether it's how he is in the meeting room. So, like, what's it say about him? I'm telling you, it's not just the football with this dude. He's a great football player. He's one of the best on the planet to do it. But, like, that's how he conducts himself with everything. That's why it's a privilege to be around him. That's why you wish the wins were stacking up for him. And for the other guys, but especially for him, because I just see it. He beats me in here some days, which, it's tough, but he does sometimes. He does.
I know it was tough for him to get that news that the team was shutting him down, but as a coordinator, as a play caller, is that like kind of like what is your reaction? That's tough on you as well, knowing like
each week is different. I've been doing it for a long time, so each week I rarely have I seen anything new under the sun. So, like, again, my job is to get those guys prepared to play the opponent that week and put those guys in the best position to help minimize the points and make sure we're ready to go on Sunday. So my job never changes.
We've spent a lot of time over the last few years asking you about Travis Kelce leading up to Chiefs games. If indeed this is his last season, can you talk about how tough of a player he was to defend over his years in the NFL?
That's one of the things that, I'm assuming when I sit back, when I'm done playing or done coaching, you think about all the great players you coached, you think about all the great players you had to coach against, and then you see him around and you're like, this dude was a true competitor, just in terms of his energy, in terms of his passion for the game. I got a lot of respect for him, and, if it's his last game, I hope it's a terrible game. And he wouldn't expect anything else from us, I think. But, it's been a privilege to go against him, and it's been a heated rivalry here with the Raiders and then in the past going against them. But, nothing but respect for the production, the leadership, the consistency. That's what you got to understand, the consistency of it, You can have 1 year, 2 years, but when you're talking about somebody who's going to have a gold jacket, it was the consistency and how he brought his team along and how he had to teach guys how to win. It's impressive. So, it's an honor to be able to go against them and game plan against them, and if it's the last game plan, I'm hoping it works. Hoping it works.
You said you want to kind of wait till after the year to reflect on maybe individuals and where they are, but is there a couple guys that you look at and you're particularly proud of the progress they made this year?
Yeah, I don't want to sing because then I'm going to forget somebody, but, and then I said I was going to wait till after the season, so, but, I'm not being a jerk, but I'm just, it is what it is, but, yeah, there's guys, but we'll see. We'll see.
All good.
All
guys?
good? Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Scott Miller signed with the Dolphins today. You were his quarterback's coach for most of the year. What are your thoughts of him and his progress that he made this year?
Yeah. Disappointing to lose him, because we put a lot of time in, and he's put a lot of time in here as well. And so that was I had a chance to talk to him last night before he got in the plane and left. But he's a hard worker and certainly somebody that we valued here, and it's hard to lose a guy like that late in the season. So, but good luck to him, and happy for him.
What in particular, skill set wise, do you feel like will ultimately translate for him?
Probably his intellect and his accuracy will help him push it down the road. Been a good player, but and has played in big games. The game's not too big for him, so I think his internal makeup is a real positive for him.
Coach, all-time Raiders rookie record for scrimmage yards in a season. Ashton Genty's chasing Josh Jacobs. Is that something that you kind of look at going into this final game? And on that note, just what do you think of his performance this year?
Yeah, we're aware of that. Obviously, at this time of year and where we're at in the season, it'd be nice to be able to see him be rewarded and have a big game for him. So I know that's important on the offensive line's mind as well as everybody, really. We're all aware of that. So we'll get him in, see how the game unfolds. I'm like I've said before, I think it's difficult really to evaluate him based on the way things went about this season and having two different systems and so I think we're happy with him as an organization. Wish that we'd given him more throughout the year, but I think he's going to be a really good player, and hopefully again we'll send him out on a good note and get him up in a chance to break Josh's record.
Saw you joking with Mike Mayer on the way over here. Just how rewarding was it for you to see him have the game he had last week? Obviously tough when Brock's around to put up numbers like that, but for him to have that kind of a game.
I was real excited for him. Again, he's a solid player. Has been a real steady player since the Raiders have drafted him. And unfortunately, the year after he was drafted, we probably drafted one of the best tight ends that'll ever play the game. So he's been a great teammate, and I know he's been a great support system for Brock. And the two of them are together, are two of the better tight end. When you look at tandems in the league, I think they got to be two of the best tandems in the league, tight ends. So we're really happy to have him. I was glad that he got a chance last week with Brock being out to kind of show himself as a tight end and as a player, and I thought he played very well last week.
Greg, how difficult is it to consistently feed two tight ends, even if you're doing a lot of 12 personnel, because maybe one guy's got to stay behind and do more of the blocking, and that kind of
Sometimes that's the case, and they're both excellent blockers. Brock can fulfill that role, but he's just such a good wide receiver that we like to get him in matchups and whatnot. So they both can play that role. I think 12 personnel, if you look in the history of the league, and really when teams are, and even here in the past with the two good tight ends, I think it creates a lot of problems for defense. It gives them the threat of 4 verticals as opposed to 21 or 22 in some of those personnel. So I think it's a package that definitely can expand in the future here for the Raiders. Just because it's hard to find those guys and hard to find players like those two that are as good of players as they are.
Not that you didn't know that Michael was capable of that, but when you see it in a game, does it kind of open your eyes of what possibilities?
Other things, sure. Yeah, certainly. Anytime you see a player come in and perform like that on a big stage, I think you'd certainly, looking forward, would say that, okay, we've got two guys that we can spread out and do some things with. So, and we kind of, again, knew that going into the season, but it's good to see him go out and express himself as a wide receiver and a tight end, a catching tight end. So it's good.
Back to Ashton, did you know he was this good a receiver coming out? Because, again, he picked up so much on the ground at Boise State, but it seemed like he really showed a lot of stuff in the receiving game this year.
Yeah, and I think he's developed, as he's been here again. Very hard worker, guy who stays after, comes out early. He's catching the ball in the jugs, is catching the balls from the quarterback. So happy to see that. Again, that should be a bigger part of the offense going forward is getting him out in space. Again, we want to get your best playmakers. If you can get them in space and get them the football, then that's a real advantage for the offense. So I think the more we can do with that, the better he'll be and the better the Raiders will be.
Talk a lot about your tight ends. I know you're not game planning for the Chiefs offense, but Travis Kelce on the other side could potentially be it for him. I know you've been around the game for a long time. What have you seen from him as he's gone through?
Oh, phenomenal player. Really just been being in the conference and being able to watch him for years. Again, he was a great player when he came in, really, and he's just continued to get better with age. I think they do a phenomenal job with him in the things that they're asking him to do in both the run game and the pass game. But certainly a Hall of Fame player, and just kind of need to follow the guy. Certainly outside of football, fun to follow him as well. So I think he's someone for any tight end that's coming up through the league that they'll look at Kelce and say that's a guy May could emulate. Thank you, guys. Yep, Happy New Year to you guys.
You guys ready? All right. My name is Adam Hill. I'm the Las Vegas chapter president of the PFWA. It's my distinct privilege today to present the 12th annual Craig Long Award, a very important initiative named for a member of the Raiders PR staff who sadly passed away in 2007 at just 36 years old, but not before achieving his childhood dream of working for his favorite team. The award is voted each year by a select group of local media and presented to the player who best exemplifies professionalism and collaboration with the media at large. A very close vote this year. Quite a difficult decision considering the high level of characters in the current locker room. But this year's winner stood out from the rest, particularly for displaying a willingness to answer questions even after heartbreaking losses. He arrived just before the season, had to endure some jokes from Pete Carroll about his Stanford education, but very quickly stood out in the locker room for his thoughtful answers and wit. What truly set him apart is that he doesn't just answer questions, he listens and engages in a conversation, has the ability to discuss a wide range of topics both on and off the field. It may not be traditionally a favorite of the media because he does not talk in sound bites, but I think that is what we have appreciated the most. His candor is greatly appreciated by us. So I'm pleased this year to present the Craig Long Award to Thomas Booker IV.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. This is dope.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Really
you.
kind remarks. Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you. You'll probably want to talk.
Speech. Man, I appreciate this a lot. You know, I think that the media is a really, really important part of our game in terms of widening the appeal of the league and everything else. So being able to kind of just talk to you guys and actually have real conversations with you and, like they said, like not sound bites. I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather just have a honest conversation with people about what's going on and, you know, keep things professional, but also give you guys a lens into kind of what's going on. And honestly, I appreciate you guys coming up with thoughtful questions and giving us stuff that's not just the basic surface level things that, you know, I can actually give a good answer towards. So, you know, I appreciate the kind remarks for real. It means a lot to me. And, you know, I just continue to try to have a good relationship with everybody, talk to everybody, treat everybody like human beings like you guys treat me. And, you know, keep this thing going. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate you, man.
Michael, can we get a picture with them?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Like,
Let's do it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.